Welcome to Positive Moments with Andrew and Don.
Let everything go.
That was such a life-changing experience.
It's a way of life, it's a way of being, it's a way of thinking, it is mind management.
It inspires me to know that there's more to learn every single day.
Welcome back to Positive Moments with Andrew and Don, episode 11. It's always lovely to have you all with us here today. We're going to talk about mentorship. What is a mentor to you? We believe as a team that mentors are fundamental for the success in one's life. It could be a parent, a teacher, a guardian, whatever it is. But in order for us to rise and thrive as human beings and find our full potential through growth, we must have mentors. I myself have many. I have a lovely guy on my side who will take you all through to introduce you to two other lovely guys. We have a really nice panel here today. Normally we have a one or two people with us here today, but the panel we have today will talk about mentorship. And my brother Don Lafoucade will tell you all a little bit more about how the ripple effect has taken place with these lovely gentlemen on my left. Welcome.
Thank you very much. And ripples don't end, but they begin again. Let me just say, it's so important to have a mentor. Even at my age, and I know I look quite young at this new 11th program, but let me just say, even at my age, I have mentors, and I also mentor others. And I'm very, very happy. I guess you could pick up Andrew's excitement, but I'm even more excited to introduce these two gentlemen sitting down in the middle here. We have Ronnie Ramuta and Syed Bash. Welcome to Positive Moments with Andrew and Don.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Don. Thank you very much, Andrew, for the warm welcome. It really is my pleasure to be on your program along with my good friend, Ronnie.
Well, you know, I'm keeping you close to me right here by me because when you say mentor, I knew this young man when he was 15 years old, and I believe I had a little part to play in his life and maybe where he is today. I mean, sometimes I try to echo that a lot, but he doesn't hear me. You know, me kind of grew up a little bit, you know, hard of hearing. But the truth is, it's really important to have a mentor. And Syed, even as you hear mentor, I mean, we have our relationship, which you probably get into. And then you could talk about Ronnie and yourself and your relationship. But even as you hear the word mentor, what is a mentor to you, Syed?
A mentor to me is somebody who could guide, somebody who could hold your hand through good times and the not so good times, somebody who you could consult, somebody who could give you advice and very good advice. You're looking at somebody as well as a mentor who could be with you to show you the way. And it's not just talk, but they walk the walk already as well.
Wow. So somebody who's been there and somebody who tends to have like a bigger understanding of life. Correct. Somebody who's able to say, hey, I'm your friend too. I can correct you and say, look, maybe you didn't consider this. How about looking at the entire picture? Correct. Ronnie, what about you? How does mentorship, what's this mentorship thing to you?
I mean, thank you for having us both. And mentorship to me meant being held as a baby, coming into a new environment, and learning from the father figure, which is Syed, more of a big brother in this role because he's not too much older than me. And he guided me into coming into this new career, and you had the understanding that no matter what will come towards you, he will shelter and protect you like a little nestling. You understand? And for me, that spoke volumes because he never left you alone, and the hand-holding was key. He said that, and it always brought me back home to say, family is there, and mentorship is an element of family life.
Wow. And you know what I love about that is that we just got a taste of what mentorship is to both of you all. But what I want you all to expose or show us is how not only small this world is, but the connection between the three of you all. Because this is what we don't realize. First of all, we never burn bridges, we build bridges. Correct. And because you all didn't burn each other's bridges, you all built bridges with one another, there is a connection between the three of you all that is very mentorship oriented and continuously mentorship oriented. I mean, just the other day, Don was sitting with your whole workforce. Correct. And by nature, that would have been created many years of understanding Don and where he's going. And now you're sitting in your room, getting his nourishment, as I would call it, too. Tell us a bit about this whole journey and where the three of you are connected. Don, you go ahead.
Well, Andrew, it's quite interesting that you say that for me because I kind of get a little teary-eyed because I remember Syed for real when he was 15 years old. But to come many years after and to see him lead a team, to be a mentor to a team. As a matter of fact, he was going to introduce me to speak with his team. But when I looked at him, I felt so proud. I felt like, this is a young man who really and truly was able to take all of the coaching and then now lead a team. And then when I look at his team, look up to him, I say, wow, that is something special. So we met many years ago. And what I love about him is that he was willing to ask. You know, sometimes we don't have all the answers. Most times we don't have all the answers, right? And he was willing to ask me a question. And that question, the answer I gave him at that point in time, stuck with him many years after. He said, thank God he still had the same number. But when I called him, I said, Syed, I see you're doing so well. I'm so proud of you. And in true Syed fashion, he said, it was something you said to me years ago. And wow, that really, it cemented in my mind the importance of a mentor, and I'm so happy to see the ripple effect, you know. And Syed, I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about it, because interestingly, I only recognized when we met recently that I had a little part to play in Ronnie's life. Ronnie was looking at me, you know, in terms of somebody to mentor him without even knowing. So that's a very important point. You could be mentoring somebody who is looking at you, and you have to be the right example. They may not exactly tell you, you're my mentor, but we have to always be careful. People are looking at us.
True. Very well said, Don. And, you know, that little statement that I remembered from since I was 15 years old, which is only about 5 years ago. But that statement that you made when I was 15, it was at a football match. And you said, Syed, don't ever let your success get the better of you. The day the nutsman passes me straight is the day I feel like I would have been a failure in life. And the point that you were making at that juncture was always remain humble and always speak to everybody, treat everybody with dignity and respect. And that stayed with me up until today, and it will stay with me for as long as I live.
Wow. And what's really special about that, when I contacted him back then and said, I see you're doing well, he didn't say Don, right? There's only now we get to the point of saying Don. It took a while, but he still said Mr. Lafourcade. Not that I wanted to be Mr. Lafourcade, that's my father, right? But the truth is, it showed that he had a respect for me, and a respect that I cherish. Not to take advantage of, but a respect that I cherish. And I cherish the interactions. And I remember interacting with Ronnie. And Ronnie, maybe you could just talk to that a little bit about me interacting with you, which you reminded me of.
Yeah. That was back in the day when I was in my past life. And a young person, 18 years, looking up to this very tall gentleman. Back then I was a lot shorter. And I saw, you know, where he walked, he had this air about him that everyone is hi, hello, and everyone is personable, and didn't understand why. And then I had one conversation with this Mr. Lafourcade, and it's like, can I go with you to see this football match? And he's like, sure, come along. He didn't know me from John. And it's how he held my hand again, unknowingly mentoring me from then. That you don't know where you could end up 10, 15 years from now. And here we are sitting on this couch having this conversation about mentorship. And it spoke to me in the sense that no matter where our networks may evolve and go towards, you can still impart knowledge on me up to this day. Yeah.
Wow. And you know, it's interesting because even as we're talking about that, and Andrew being an athlete, I've had the privilege of seeing youngsters look up to Andrew, you know, and I mean, let's be real, the dynamics, Andrew down in Vesini, Andrew's in Vesini Beach doing this camp for Republic Bank, and I'm looking at the youngsters engage with him, and I was so amazed at the respect that they had for him and how it is he was able to. There was a time Andrew said, hey, there's no talking. We're going on the water in a while. I don't want anybody to follow the boat. There's some things we have to learn. Let's get to the basics. And Andrew, that to me talks about that. So there's a bit of discipline, if I'm not mistaken, Andrew, involved in mentorship?
Well, in every success requires discipline. And the more successful you become is probably because you're more disciplined in what you're doing to focus on that specific thing you're trying to achieve. And with success becomes responsibility. Right. And for me, you know, this whole episode is very, very powerful because we're hearing stories about individuals who are 15 years old, 16 years old, back in secondary school days almost. And now we're sitting here, in theory, some 10, 15 years later could be, and you don't realize the power of yourself, of what you're doing in your past and how it could affect you. But that doesn't mean that your past, whether bad or good, must have an effect on your future. It is what it is. We all have situations we go through. And our mentors are the people who can help us get through these situations. And to me, what I love the most about this story is the effect that, you know, Mr. Lafourcade had on you in those days was very subtle, but powerful. And the same thing for you, Syed, is that these effects that we're having on human beings, whether it is the nuts man on the way home from work, smiling at him, waving, whatever it is, putting on your window, saying, hey, I don't need any nuts right now, but have a good day. And these big effects give people purpose, love, passion. And in a society where, yesterday I was driving home, I saw a cat that got hit on the road and was dying or almost dead. I felt that in my heart. But I believe these human beings could become feeling less to a lot of things. And it's because of the guidance we have and the passion we have. And this world is very fast. This world is very cutthroat and sharky in many areas. But not losing the ability to open your car, to drop somebody around, to greeting everybody equally, no matter your success. This is what a great mentor will bring to someone's life. And Don consistently says to me, Andrew, you continue to stay humble, stay humble, stay humble. And many people have told me that. But I also believe that has come from my brought up of my father and my mother. But I also know what it is to not be humble. And a great mentor will always tell you, see, this is an example of what it means to no longer be humble or use your opportunity and how that could take you to a fall instead of increase your rise. And I say rise because until you are no longer here, once your heart is beating, you are rising. Every morning you get up, your heart is beating, you rise to the day. For me, it is important to pray every morning and praise the Almighty with that rise and then go strong. But when you're feeling down, when you're having those hard times, we are not designed as human beings to succeed. This year alone, 2 close people of mine took their own lives. Very, very hard for me to understand why. And I don't believe I'll ever understand what happened there. But a mentor can save your lives. We must have mentors to keep us not only thriving, but living. This is the power of a mentor. Who is around you? Who is affecting you? You must build them. The range, I want you all to give us a little taste of, people who are mentors to you all. And just give us your range. Whether it's a pastor or a priest or a surgeon or a doctor or a teacher. Who are some mentors in your life that really are just unique to you?
Firstly, my father. Firstly, it will always be my father is my number one mentor. Then I have an elder brother. I also learn a lot from him. But coming back to your financial career and where I worked in the past and where I'm now, you always look up to senior managers in the business who would have tried and tested the waters before you. So they are not speaking out of sheer luck. They would have done it through experience, having lived the career. And something you said there spoke to me. Whilst mentors will be helping us, we also help mentors a lot. In our conversations, many times Syed will ask me, so what can I do better? So it's not that he's giving information and giving praise or tutelage as he comes along, but Ronnie, what can I do better to help you? Do you need to see me more? Do we have to have more conversations? Am I not open enough with you? Am I not reachable? And in turn, he helps me, but instead, he's also helping himself to be a better person. He's guiding his way, as you said, to rise. Because now everyone will seek to approach him to get guidance because he's helping others. Not because he's getting paid to do it or anything like that, because he's genuinely a good person. And it's important to find a mentor who doesn't have self-interest. And I think in our conversations and our interaction, I've known Syed close to 20 years now, since at Naparima College. So we must put that plug in there. Yeah, since at Naparima College. And since then, we had at the school a big brother system because we weren't in the same year. And whilst I was in Form 1, he was probably in Form 5, Form 6. And the school prefects were not persons in your same year. It was people above. And that mentorship started from then. And we probably didn't even know it. But coming out of Standard 5 with the short pants into the long pants and interacting with these older kids, these school prefects would come and said, the cafe is there, the washrooms are there, this is what you need to do. If anything, call me, I'm in this class. And that stayed, I guess, with us. And up to now, joining this career 4 or 5 years ago, this is the toilet, this is the coffee room. And that's what he did for me. Yeah?
Wow. And that takes me to a good point for a word, Don. Because what I'm experiencing from you is that, you love the concept of mentorship, people who have experienced it, and then they're able to share their experiences with you. And someone who could share a good experience, someone who has passion. And what can we do with the word passion here, Don?
Well, passion for me is really what I pass on. But for a lot of people, the I remains hidden. That's why they get passed on. And what's very important, if I'm hearing correctly, this is positive moments, and any moment could be used positively by a mentor. Any moment, because as you said, and sadly, Andrew, when you mentioned, because we have some youngsters now who unfortunately think there's no hope, and there's always hope. And maybe somebody who's looking, somebody's looking at you, and you have to offer that hope. You have to extend yourself. If I'm hearing correctly, Syed would have extended himself, I mean, like twice. This is the washroom. This is the, this is, right? But if I'm hearing correctly, and Syed, you could probably take this off in terms of you must extend yourself, and you must be willing to go beyond. Is that what a mentor is about? Really going beyond the normal?
And I look at mentoring as well as like a coach. Now, as Ronnie mentioned earlier, it has to be genuine. And you have to go way above and beyond your own self. And being a mentor as well speaks about, there's a little phrase that I use, leaders growing leaders. And if I have to say a mentor is a leader growing other leaders. Because similar to our situation, Don, you are one of my mentors. And to answer Andrew's question earlier, I have other mentors as well in the profession, as well as my father, who is no longer with me, but I still keep his lessons and whatever he taught me whilst he was alive uppermost in my mind, the values. But the mentoring aspect that you did for me and still continue to do for me is what I am passing on to Ronnie as being one of his mentors. And Ronnie now is also mentoring other young people. So it really is a ripple effect of what mentoring is about. And at the end of the day, you can't be selfish. It is not about you. It is not about what is in it for you. It's more about giving. And being a mentor not only means giving knowledge, but it means also as well that you're giving of yourself what perhaps you don't even know that you're giving. Because a lot of times people might see us out there. They might see you driving. They might see you with your family. They might see you in a different environment. But you know what? Eyes are on you. And you don't know what impact you're having on somebody else. And that is very, very important if you are a mentor or you want to get into mentoring or you consider yourself a mentor. Eyes are on you. And that is a sacred responsibility. So it's not something that should be taken lightly. Mentoring is not only in the job, it's off the job. And I think that is an important point.
Wow, wow. Well, for me, one of the jobs that I had, I remember significant, I was feeling a bit aggrieved because I felt I should have gotten some recognition. I did this and all these youths and I did this. And I remember one of my mentors calling me in his office and he said something to me which I've never forgotten and will never forget. He said to me, Don, it's not about I. So I felt now, okay, well, I've still, yeah, I know that. You're going to say it's about we. And then he said to me, no, it's not about I, it's not about we. Let it always be about them and they will promote me. And that stood with me because I had to take myself out of the picture and recognize too that I am learning and we are all here to learn and we're all here to grow, right? And that's what is happening. I mean, yeah, we get a little older. By now we know where the washroom are. We learn a couple of things. Yeah. But really and truly, and even as we say mentoring, and the four of us here, it's for women too. Of course. We want to say that as well too. It's for women as well too, because they fill a role in other young ladies or even young men's lives.
And Don, I have mentors who are female. It doesn't necessarily have to be a male mentor, but it could be, I have female mentors. And there are female qualities that, I admire. From my wife, for instance, taking care of my daughter and all of those things. I look up to her in that regard. She's a mentor at home. Wow. So it's powerful. It's powerful.
And one that you should listen to.
Of course.
Yeah.
Andrew, and Ronnie. Yeah.
I should say my wife and my mother, they are my mentors. I just want to make that sure.
But that takes me into a crucial place where people say, Andrew, I don't even know where to find a mentor. I don't even, where do I, the way I live, the nice thing when people accept the fact that the environment that they're in is not healthy for them and they don't want more of it. And they struggle to find mentors in their environment sometimes. And this is not categorizing location or salaries or anything. This is just human beings in which they have acknowledged that that's not a healthy environment and the potential mentors around there would lead me down the pathway of their avenue. And they don't want to go that direction. Even to that could be very stereotypical, but I know one family who comes from a family of doctors. She doesn't want to be a doctor. But if she was to tell her parents that, it is a very uncomfortable situation because we are doctors. Don't play you go anywhere else. Yeah. We have practice and everything, and you follow in. So that disconnect in which creating, she needed a mentor to get the sense of direction on how to proceed. Unfortunately, it was discomfort. But with the help of someone else, she is now thriving. Right. So where do people find mentors in where it could be different? Or how do you ask someone to be a mentor?
I think, it happens naturally most times. I mean, I did not go to Don and say, Don, I want you to be my mentor. We met, we had conversation upon conversation, and over the years, it would have evolved because of who you are, who you have become. I look at your qualities, and that is something where I say, I need to be like Don. And to answer to Andrew there, it's the power of choice. It's where one sees oneself. And it's not necessarily in the same profession. It's not necessarily in the same village or community that you belong to. But it could be a mentor out of your comfort zone. And it's all about a conversation. And now especially, where we have seen that the pandemic and the use of technology has evolved, I could have a Zoom meeting with Don at any point in time.
You require you to reach out.
Correct.
So this is the important aspect. Some people say, oh, I love these examples. This person I wish they could be my mentor. But lack of confidence or lack of, it is important to see something, and in order to manifest it and achieve it, you must step towards it. Have there been mentors in your life that were challenging to approach, to speak?
No, and I agree with you 100%. It's very challenging to find a mentor, but ideally, a mentor will find you. Divine intervention will step in, and that mentor will find you. And coming back to your conversation about the family of doctors, she may have a mentor there already and probably don't know it because, and I picked this up somewhere along the way, that in order to be a good mentor, you must be a tormentor at times. So maybe tightening those screws and letting her know, say, listen, this is what you really need to do. Probably she could be the best surgeon but she hasn't tapped into that potential yet. And only when that mentor gets in and digs deep, she probably is not an agreement what she's saying, and that's why, that's not the mentor for me. But the mentor will always find the person. And that's how I see it.
Wow. I just want that word you use there, potential. And really and truly, even as a youngster, maybe you're looking on and you have some youngsters around you, what we're trying to do is to not look at the person as they may seem to be, but as to what they could become. And we have to have an image of other people sometimes that they don't have of themselves. And when you start having images of people and the great things and tell them, for example, that you can be positive and you can actually achieve in life, they go, but wait, somebody believes in me. And that's what a lot of young people looking for. I just say young people, but a lot of people generally looking for somebody to believe in them, to make them believe that they could do it.
Ideally enough, Don, and people look for the quick fix. Right now, we're in an environment, you could, as I just said, you pick up the phone and you could have a Zoom call with Don. Previous to that, you'd have to reach out to my people, reach out to your people, set an appointment, find out what's good, but everyone wants it right now. And having a good mentor, you think, okay, everything could be fixed overnight. And ideally with Syed and I, he would have courted me, for lack of a better word, to join this noble profession that we are in for more than 4 or 5 years. And persistence is key. And you see where eventually things will fall into place. So whilst you may have a mentor and you want that quick fix, you want to be fixed, or I have a problem, fix me now, fix me now. No. It's time both from your end as well as the mentor who will guide you, hold your hand, as you say, paddle the boat with you. It's not going to happen overnight. And that's the key thing. We can't expect quick fixes right now.
And that takes me into the quick fixes concept because that has been associated worldwide with something called the millennial mind.
Yeah. Right.
The concept of us getting things fast. The online, press a button, buy, boom, arrives in a few days. This quick fix concept. And what I think about that, it brings me back to the younger age of us when we were much more emotional. I use the word unstable, but not in a bad way. Mm-hmm. It's because we're finding our ground, finding our purpose, more vulnerable is the word I would like to use. And we would have all gone through a certain stage of it where the life in front of us was taking us down, seeing certain people as leaders or even mentors. Yeah. But when we reflect on it now, it could be musicians, actors, whatever it is, we look and we say, oh, wow. Thankfully, I didn't take that as an example, certain ways of dressing, certain ways of talking, certain ways of being on the whole. How did you as a human being fight the resistance, I would call it, to go down with whatever your definition of an unhealthy mentor is, or unhealthy pathway in your life? How did you resist certain pathways that you see many people go down that don't end up very well? How did you resist that? And what would you tell to a younger generation person who's looking at somebody who is going, or mine is, their eyes are on that unhealthy direction?
Yeah, I can speak from experience here, because when I was young, me and my older brother, we looked at wrestling, and you would see this aggression and coarse language, and everything is settled via fists, right? And you mature enough to know, listen, that's not how it's done in the real world. But at a young 5, 6 impressionable mind, that is ideal. Play loud music, peel the chair this way, and you think that is it. But we have a saying, you know, when you assemble, you resemble. And with mentorship from my dad and cousins and elder cousins, you would see that that's not how you mold oneself. So to answer your question, which avenue do you take? It's good to be exposed to all these things so that you can sample a bit of each. Not that I will pick up a chair and hit my brother, but it is good to experience these things so you know where not to venture into. Okay, if you go down this road, this is what will happen. If you pick up a cigarette, you might eventually pick up a marijuana, which will develop into other things, which are not nice in the grand scheme of things. So when you assemble, you resemble, and you support yourself, and you find yourself with good people, and from there you can make an informed decision. When you're at that point, maybe 10, 11 years, because we all know what is right and wrong from small, you know. Sarah and I had this joke because we both have young daughters. The baby is very young, the bottle fell. You did that? No. The child already knows it is no. He did it. She did it. No. So we know what is right and wrong, right? But we're afraid of the repercussions. So we will take, just like water, we'll take the easiest course forward, but that's not always the best course.
Wow. And a lot of what we're talking about here, even as we probably just heard a phone just now with a message, is really about messaging. It's really about sending a lot of messages, but making sure that the message we're sending, right, we're sending to somebody, they're also saying something to us. And I think, Andrew, even in this time, we who decide we're going to stand up and be mentors, we have to look a little deeper, because there are many young people outside there maybe not getting it from a teacher. I mean, there are fantastic teachers who are doing it even online. True. And I want to commend, just as a teacher looking at me, you're struggling online there, but you're still getting the kids to do their homework, and so thumbs up for you. I want to say that really and truly, we need to go a little closer. And I'm just going to give a little phrase. For there to be true impact, there must be contact. And that contact doesn't necessarily have to be a physical thing. It's a mental thing. It's a connection. The same way Andrew and I from day one. From day one when we met each other, courtesy Republic Bank, I still remember the school, Holy Faith, you know, and we had a connection. Andrew had his stuff in the car to go to train to Brazil. I mean, unfortunately, he had the fall and so. And we want to say that, I just want to bring up that mentors go through stuff too. Correct. Because some people, they have the impression that, oh, look at the four of them, they sit down there talking, they probably have it. No, we all go through stuff, but we go through stuff to help other people get through stuff. And Syed, I know of you and your dad. I never met Syed's dad, but I still want to say I met Syed's dad through Syed. And if you could just, Syed, give us a moment where your dad did something with you. Let's get into Syed's life a little bit, where your dad and you had an interaction, one that will remain profoundly in your mind and forever stay the way that you think about that particular incident.
Good question. And, you know, I mentioned my dad earlier. He passed away in 2009. So it's you know, a lot of years ago. But he's still with me, I know that. But if I could recall one moment, it will be the moment when, no, my father had Parkinson's. So when I was born, when I was 1 year old, he was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. But I saw a man continue to work despite his hands shaking uncontrollably, would go to the office. And Don, I don't know if you know, but my dad had me at the age of 54. So I was the son of an elderly man. I remember going to an Aprima college and they said, look, your grandfather coming to pick you up. But it was my father. Right? But what I remember is I
just want to tell Andrew, that's why we didn't go Napri, but we went out Trinity and Pratt. But it's okay, you know, it's okay. You survived. You did well.
First choice. But, you know, I remember my father working hard to put me through school and to put me through university. And even at the age of 78, 79, he was still going to the office. And being and not so well because he was ill, and still getting up in the morning at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, he's going to the office at that age. And it showed the passion that he had for the profession, but also it showed the sacrifice that one makes for one's family. And even as a mentor, I am, up till now, my father is recognized as coming to every single meeting, despite his age and despite that he should have been in retirement. He never missed a meeting.
So if I'm hearing correctly, a major part of being a mentor is showing up.
Correct.
And in society, we have a lot of people, Andrew, who don't show up, who refuse to be there for others. And that's what really and truly, folks, this is all about, being there. Yes, you're seeing 4 guys here, and ladies, you're also mentors as well. I mean, should you choose to be, but you are. But how are you mentoring? How are we mentoring? That's a question we have to ask ourselves all the time.
And that's exactly where I was leading in this whole conversation too. How are you mentoring? Because I want to be more specific. In my life, I've grown up around, not necessarily through my family, but through many avenues, around music that really is highly sex-oriented, highly oriented with a lot of unhealthy ways of life.
Yes.
I myself used to know those songs by heart. I myself could still hear old one and know the verbs, know the lyrics, but it is catchy. It sells. Radio will play it. Trucks will play it passing down the street. They'll blare it. They want you to. It just becomes trending and popular. But by nature, that programs us into a whole different thinking. Even to be specific, I remember hearing a song that was associated with men's underwear and women's underwear can't wash together. And it just makes me seem like, and it actually was trending. It was a genuine thing people started to believe in the early days. And it was seen absurd. And it just because it was a man's seniority over a woman and certain aspects around it that were really, really poor in my views in life that just don't belong. But these things, these lyrics, these ways of life will program you to act in certain ways.
And you know, Andrew, that's a real important point you make there. Because we have a lot of young people watching us now and impressionable minds. And now, where everybody's behind a computer screen, you know, parents don't know what their kid's watching. Teachers don't know if the child is actually on the class, you know. Right. But the thing is, you see parenting, you see making sure that the child is spiritually grounded. Those things will tell you right from wrong. That will allow you to whether that song, you live that song or you say, no, it's just a song. And my parents grew me up in a different way. Or when I go to church, you know, I know that is not how one's supposed to behave. And those things are important. And in society now, we need to pay attention to proper parenting, to be having our kids spiritually grounded, because they will go out in the world of work one day, they will become adults one day, and then have to make choices, and choices determine your destiny. You know, there's a saying that we use as well, decisions determine your destiny. And having the decision of right from wrong is the first thing. And proper parenting, spiritually grounded, is what will guide you.
You know, and I just want to tap into something that Andrew said there and say it as well too. Young people are looking outside there. And we want to invite you. We have a lot of positive moments with Andrew and Don on YouTube. You see, they need material. Correct. When we share with them that we had before, you know, we had Shaka Hislop. We had the wonderful Sead Bash too. I think Andrew, you know, maybe, you know, put a little plug for my boy, you know what I mean? But we had, you know, the Goldilly Bruce and so, and you need to hear some of those stories. It's just Laurent West and so. You need to get those stories. You have to look at what you're looking at. Hello? That'll determine where it is you're going. Let me say it again. You have to look at what you're looking at. And whilst you're searching outside there and you're wondering, people not taking you on, I'm home for almost 2 years now. Yeah. I by myself, nobody taking me on. But we want to tell you that we are here for you. This is Positive Moments with Andrew and Don, but we ain't done. Andrew.
And that leads me to a very important place, because not only do we need each other, and we're so technology advanced nowadays, it's that we, Don and myself, are providing what we call a hotline email address, which is donandandrewlive@gmail.com, which we will put up on the screen there for you, so that you all could reach out to us at any point in time via email with your concern, and that could eventually turn into a phone call, and if necessary, save a life or encourage somebody to really thrive. Because the only reason this show exists is to create positivity and lift human beings. And as I said earlier on, build bridges, not break them. We really want to. We got here because people helped us in our life. And it's only by nature that we are here to share these stories so that you all one day watching this can do your own, whether it is sitting in your home with your family and friends or on TV one day or wherever it may be. Just to share some. So what would you really like to share as I would call a successful individual, successful businessman? What would you really like to share to help someone to find a mentor to help them thrive in their art form?
Again, I come back to the mentor will find you. I honestly believe the mentor will find you.
But you got to be looking.
Correct. But you got to be looking, and looking with the enthusiasm that there is help out there. As we said, it's positive thoughts, positive moments, and understanding that no man is an island. You would think, yes, you can do it on your own. If he did it, I could do it. What's the big catch, you know? But if we can make it easier for you, we've lived it, we've done it, why not help someone? Why not seek help? And in our careers, Syed is a bit senior to me, and I've seen him done extraordinary things. A lot of his accolades are not published because of the fact that he's modest at times. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't listen to anyone else because he gave me an opportunity to grow, and he showed me exactly how to do it. And if, to answer your question, a successful businessman, a successful mentor is the guy to my left. He actually held me, promised me certain things, and said, if you do what I do, if you do what I tell you to do, you will achieve greatness. And I'm not saying I'm the best person in the world, but I would have been worse off if I hadn't listened to him. And I guess that's a mentor, you know, bringing you from here to here. It's not going to happen overnight, but once you have the self-discipline to take the correct training, guidance, and learnings, life learnings, it will bring you to where you need to be.
That's what Positive Moments is about.
And you know, Andrew, was interesting. The positive moment that we're in now makes for a more positive moment later on. And you know, you said, Ronnie, that no man is an island. And let me tell you, when Andrew and I got together, even with this wonderful idea to bring positive moments, we needed a sponsor. We needed a sponsor. And we want to thank Republic Bank for joining this vision. We're actually into season 2. You know, we want to go 3, 4 and more, right? But we're actually into season 2.
We sure are. And, you know, the beautiful thing about my brother Don and his gift is he's going to give us a really nice twist on the word Republic. Because not only is it our sponsor, but we come from the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. So what do you have for us with Republic today?
Well, I want to start off with the R. And let me tell you, this whole thing is a journey. Hello? So the E goes to the experience. And the P we talk about is the passion, okay? And then we talk about Pub. So therefore, you, every single, and you too, every single one of us is important. And that you after you is what the B. So we have to know who it is we're meant to be. And we intend to be mentors. Guess what? But the L means, hello, we're learning. I'm learning. Well, okay, I get to see that they're learning as well too. So let me just tell you, it's not us alone. It's all about it's a whole team effort. And let me tell you, sometimes the team might only be 2. You might just have somebody next to you, a little child. Hello, be a team member, be a coach, be a mentor. You could be saving a life.
Ah, beautiful, beautiful.
And Andrew, I would add something there. Don is one of my mentors. But it's not a mentor in the business that I'm in. Neither is the business that Ronnie is in. But you know what? It's a mentor for life. And it's not about only having a business mentor, but it's about having a mentor who could teach you about life and life's lessons. And you know, you mentioned something earlier, you know, somebody might see 4 of us and say, well, them fellas, you know, they have it made. What problems they probably faced? Wow. Don will tell you some of the problems.
I didn't get a jacket for today. Let's start there.
Right?
Let's start there.
But the thing is, the challenges that we face, you need somebody to have that counsel with. You need somebody to really guide you when things are not going so right either. And that person could be your compass. I would look as a mentor as being your compass, you know. And you have been my compass. When things are not so right, or even when things are good, I could celebrate with you. Right? So, and in your... you being my mentor, Ronnie is my mentee, so he's the person that probably will look at me as a mentor. But then we have other people looking at us as well. So it's really that ripple effect. You have no idea what you would have done to me that I pass on to other people now.
And that leads me to something I touched on earlier, but I want to share a message here is that we as human beings, we get scared. And this is probably because there's a passion or a drive and something you really want to achieve or bring into your life. And a mentor is very likely to be one of these people. I myself have made a commitment. I used to speak in front of class, where I read poems, and I was terrible. I made a commitment to become a better reader and someone who could approach people better. There's no human being that I won't approach, down to the point I will approach the president, the prime minister, the CEO, anybody. Also, the man on the side of the road, I'll approach
the nuts man.
I will approach anybody at this stage of my life. It took a lot of work to get there. I remember at some point in time, I would talk on the phone, my voice would be shaking. You're not feeling? Yeah. You're not shaking, eh? Your voice is shaking because you know that you really want to connect with this person. It's a passion and love for what you're trying to achieve. So yes, it will be uncomfortable sometimes getting to the stage of confidence when you're approaching these people because you need these people in your life. You want this job, you know this person could talk to so-and-so and get your resume inside there for you to achieve this success. It's not going to be easy, but it's important to take that step. And if it doesn't work on the first time, that's all right.
It's okay.
That is the steps necessary to get into that confidence to approach. Maybe that individual didn't work out, but the next time you'll be stronger. And maybe that individual doesn't work out, and the strength will keep building. So don't let these breakdowns break you down. Let them strengthen you so that eventually you could approach anybody.
What you're saying there is so important because you know what? Because of what you went through, you could now coach some or mentor some young person who might be going through that same challenge. And you could say, you know what? 3-4 times I couldn't connect with people, but you know what? I will show you how I did it. And that person doesn't have to go through what you went through because it was there for a purpose. And I guess that's a positive moment as well.
Oh, very much so. And I'll tell you too, because you know when you talk about fear, that fear, if you get rid of the E, you get far. So hello, yes, you might feel the fear, but we don't want to make excuses because you might make an excuse and miss a positive moment for someone.
And then a real cool experience I've had growing up, and I call it cool now because it taught me so much, is a classic example. I was around 15 years old and I approached this guy. I say, oh, is that a boy or a girl? Of his little baby. And he said, you're blind or what? You can't see the earrings? And at that age, I would feel empty, you know, vulnerable. But what it has taught me is you got to be fluid with it. You got to be really fluid. Nowadays, I'm like, well, nowadays, boys and girls wear the same earrings, both sides. You know, and I got flowing nowadays. But don't take it personal, as you said. So all these challenges you have, a mentor might say, go here and do this. But you really don't want to do that, and it's bothering you and affecting you. Don't take it personal. The most important thing is to remember that you are the one who has the sense of direction because you are the one who has the heart. Right? And don't tell us about heart just now because without a heart, you won't be able to go around the right, because the two of them have the same amount of words in them, same letters in them. So in order for us to travel the globe and see all the things that we want and achieve all we want from a global perspective, whether here in Trinidad or worldwide, we must go through these discomforts and just embrace them.
Wow. And even as you talk about embrace, the difference between the word compete and the word complete is the L, and that embrace talks about love. And you can't mentor somebody without truly having a love for them. And we have to genuinely love and appreciate other people and appreciate them for their experiences. It may not be our experiences, but all of us can have a great experience. In other words, we could all have a great positive moment.
And can you love somebody, it's both of you, can you love somebody, be very stern with them?
I do it every day with Ronnie. It's called tough love. But
one might call it tough love. But when we are understanding love, we must understand that love comes in many different forms. Yeah. Someone could be very upset with you, but it's just because they love you. There's a passion behind it.
Correct.
And as a mentor, I have let down 1 or 2 mentors before because they gave me a sense of direction, and I felt maybe, you know what, nah, that is not for me. Yeah. But it was really for me. And they came with tough love. And it doesn't mean that it was to break our relationship. It was to strengthen our relationship. So when that tough love comes as a mentor, wherever it comes in your life, once again, let it strengthen you.
Wow. And even as you say mentor, there must be truth. There must be an element of truth. And you know, okay, so 4 guys here, mentor, you have the eminent, you have Mr., but in the middle there somehow you have note. But let me tell you, what we have to note and be able to take note is that when we need correction too, okay, because we have to be willing to go where sometimes somebody else and kind of leave, you know, a trial really makes a trail for other people to follow. So we have to kind of be willing to blaze the trail a little bit sometimes, but not forget that there are other people who want to find their way as well. And let me just say very quickly, every single one of us have a talent. So we have 2 guys here, wonderful in the financial industry, wonderful. We have an Olympic sailor. I try a couple of things with words here and there. But each of us have something that we can do. And let me tell you, outside there, you might think we're just talking to a mentee. No, you're a mentor. You're a mentor in the making. Hello, we are in the making. None of us have arrived. And you can get there as well too. You can get there. You can go to exactly where that you're larger than life and somebody looks up to you and say, hey, I made it because of you. You know, Andrew, when somebody says that to you, Andrew Lewis, I feel so good because, Andrew, you had a fall. And in the word fall, it has all. Because falls happen to all. But I didn't stall. Listen to me. You don't want to go and shop by the mall look like this. But let me just tell you, okay? All right?
And the word all in nowadays is very important because with the technology that exists, and if you're a young boy or girl in school, there's no harm in having a LinkedIn account. There's no harm in having a business account of any sort. Utilize the technology. You all sit in front of computers very often. Nowadays, you could almost reach anyone. Utilize it. Send an email. Find an email address online. Connect them on their LinkedIn account. Reach out to them. Keep reaching out to the people who you want to have as mentors. If they're trying to get to a certain place in your life, technology has made it easier. You know, you could almost reach anybody nowadays. They may not respond, but you could reach them. So as we get ready to wrap up and continue this flow of positivity, what would you like to share to the younger generation?
I'm glad you spoke to me as a younger generation because I think I'm the youngest here. But earlier we started to touch on it, but we just didn't get to finish up on it. We have a lot of millennials looking at the show. And whilst we all have progress in this world and we have cell phones and we're trying to do things better, internet now was...
Millennials or millionaires or both?
Both.
Millennials.
We have where back then we had dial-up internet. And you couldn't connect without your dad, mom or dad being off the phone. But now you can connect via phone. You have a smartphone, you have a camera. I remember my Standard 5 teacher saying you would never have a calculator all the time. I have a calculator on my watch now, right? So we do these things as individuals and as human beings to get better at life, you know, to make it easier for us. But on the flip side now, it becomes harder because everything is spoon-fed. Everything is given to you. And as you said, the ripple effect, I'm currently mentoring some individuals and they are the younger generation, and it's so hard to connect with them because in their minds everything should be spoon-fed, but they would see eventually with time, again, you are doing this from a place of love. It's not to be your tormentor, as I said before. No, you need to do this because I did it and it worked for me, you should do it as well. Yes, I'm trying to make it easier for you. And whilst my last words will be, we are all doing this because we love you. It's not because we want to make ourselves look good or anything like that. Mentorship is all about love. Because if I didn't want it for myself, I wouldn't do it for you. Yeah?
Yeah. Fantastic. Well said. Well said. Well, to Andrew and to Don, let me take the opportunity to thank both of you for having both Ronnie and myself on the program. And to the young people watching out there, whatever challenge you are going through, whatever situation you may be in, always remember that there's somebody for you to talk to. I want to personally give my email address out, and it's seyadanthonybaksh@gmail.com. If I could be of assistance to anybody watching the program, please feel free to shoot me an email. I'll be sure to perhaps give you a call back, or we could communicate via Zoom or whatever platform. But I really think, you know, this positive moments with Andrew and Don, it is needed. And I'm glad to know that you all have taken the initiative of, along with Republic Bank, to really impart positivity into society. And for those young people looking on, wherever you are, whatever you think it's impossible to get done, remember, done. In impossible, it's I am possible.
Wow.
Coming for that job.
Oh, I have to push the bar, you know?
Yeah. Mentor, you're my mentor.
Yeah. But let me just say, folks, it's really a joy to have Seyad and Ronnie on. And let me tell you, notice I said, Sead and Ronnie on, because, things change. Because normally we go PQRS, but I said SR. And SR means really and truly two you guys are two senior guys that young people are going to look up to. And have something to actually work towards for the rest of their life. So we're so glad to have you all on Positive Moments. And let me tell you, make sure and look at this again. Don't just watch it one time. We're going to be on YouTube too. And here, TTT, I said three times. TTT? Yeah. What are we talking about? I'm talking about this one T, but listen to me, somebody. All right? But really and truly, we want you to look at all the programs on Positive Moments with Andrew and Don. There's a lot there that is done for you. As was said before, this is done with love and is all about love. No love without you.
So thank you all for joining us here today in episode 11 of Positive Moments with Andrew and Don. Go out, get a mentor, believe in yourself. Little by little, you will get where you need to be. The world is destined for all of us to succeed. It's up to you how you would like to succeed. May you all have a lovely day and tune in again for episode 12. Bye-bye for now.